Hello and welcome to Kody and Korbin Have a Podcast, the show where two former roommates talk about whatever we want because it's KHAP Chat 4. As always, I'm your host, Korbin Zvokel, and joining me, my favorite man to KHAP chat with, my May Mania co-host, Kody Webb. Kody, how's it going?
We back, more May Mania incoming, and yeah, I love doing these cap chats. Got the fire, sitting toasty behind me, so I'm ready to go. But yeah, should be a fun episode, man. I'm excited.
It's fun. It's also KHAP Chat 4 Just Us edition, a little specialty one. Gonna be way more laid back, no guests, just you and I. And we've got a little bit of a gamified format that we're gonna be doing to pick what we talk about. And I'm really looking forward to it.
We're dropping the guest this episode. No extra person necessary. Just the capper's gonna keep everybody entertained today, but it should be a fun game. I think we should definitely get into it.
So this is the 4th edition. So I always got to shout out the previous KHAP Chats. So you can check out the first one we did, season 3, episode 11 with Luke Manning. You can do number 2, season 4, episode 14 with Christian Steiner, or just go back to episode 7 of this season 5, where we talked to me and Anaki for KHAP Chat number 3. Just us today. We're looking forward to KHAP Chat number 5 to bring a guest back, though. So look out for that.
True. If you want to be the special episode number 5 of KHAP Chats, obviously hit us up, and of course we'll be on. But
so before we get into the game part of it, let's talk about a somewhat recent release, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We're recording this a little bit early from when it gets released. So at this time, I would say Guardians has been out for 2-3 weeks. People have gotten a chance to see it. So I think we can have like a spoiler conversation here. I know you had a great conversation with our compadres over on the Rough Cut retrospective. So you share a lot of your thoughts already, but I got to get a chance to talk to you as well about it, man.
Yeah, 100%. And if you've not checked out the RCR episode, obviously go over there, and I have a ton of my general thoughts. But yeah, I think this is pretty topical. Like you said, with Marvel stuff too. I feel like usually after a couple weeks, pretty much everybody who is going to see it has seen it by now. So spoiler talk is probably out the window.
If you don't want to hear it, timestamp in the description. You can skip ahead to the next section.
True. But obviously I was fairly positive on the movie. Of course, there's always issues and stuff, but I'm gonna throw it over to you. What do you think of Guardians, man?
I think since seeing it, I've only have come to appreciate it more. Honestly, like I've become, the heart has grown fonder. I think maybe if I give it another rewatch, it'll probably level out and I can figure exactly how I feel about it. I think there's parts of it that are not my favorite. I think particularly the Adam Warlock stuff, which you guys identified over at the RCR. I think he was really misused. It felt like he was kind of shoehorned into the story because of that post-credit scene in Volume 2, which I know you kind of agree with as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's the easy kind of picking point in this movie is he's definitely not necessary for the story for any particular reason. I do, however, really enjoy his character introduction, which has become like this big meme on TikTok. I don't know if you know, but I think that mostly has to do with just like the music choice, and obviously the editing and post and the effects look really good as well. But man, this soundtrack, I keep going back and kind of going over it bit by bit as well. I really love this movie, and I really love the Guardians movie in general. And I think music has the big point with that. But yeah, there's a bunch of side characters I think who don't really need to be there at times. Obviously, the main core Guardians, I really like their character beats, but past that, even the High Evolutionary kind of gets lost a little bit in the third act.
Yeah. Well, listen, I enjoyed the villain. I saw, this is one of the first like good villains. I really appreciate the villain arc in Shang-Chi, and I think that movie really gets forgotten about in the post in-game Marvel world. I think that movie's a little bit underrated just because of like it's surrounded by some worse junk, but I think that movie has a really solid villain. Its third act again is the Marvel, he fights a fucking giant dragon and there's all sorts of crazy shit. But I think the villain's really effective there. I also do love this villain though, the High Evolutionary. I think that idea of playing God, it's a different take on the same, because we've seen Thanos, we're gonna see Kang. The High Evolutionary is a similar like big bad evil guy, but it's not that he just wants to destroy everyone. It's that he wants to like be omnipotent and create change and have that power over beings to destroy, and thinks he just literally wants to play God, which I think is really interesting.
I do like that conceptual kind of thoughts behind it. Yeah, he's got a really great quote, kind of just God complex wise, where he says, "There is no God. That's why I stepped in."
Yeah.
I think it's a great line. And like you said, kind of just a different take on the big bad Marvel villain. Obviously, he kind of does want to like rule in universe and kill everybody, I guess, but kind of just a different standpoint from that aspect. So I like third act wise, he is kind of just screaming the entire time, which I mean, dialogue is dialogue, I guess, but his relationship with Rocket and their kind of standoff at the end, I did really like, but kind of everything from his kind of interaction with Groot and Star-Lord past that is mostly him just screaming for a half hour until we get to the Rocket stuff. And also he got his like face pulled off, and I thought for a second he was the red guy from Captain America. What's
Red
his name?
Skull.
Yeah, Red Skull.
Well,
It's
they
like, what
both
is
do have a similar ideology, and there definitely
yeah.
seems to be a bit of a connection between what they believe in. And he definitely looks like him as well.
Yeah. I also heard some things like, oh, maybe they were trying to make him Kang at the end, like a Kang variant, and try and just replace Jonathan Majors, kind of a backdoor swivel off of him, which I think would be funny.
I don't think that's a thing. I don't. James Gunn wouldn't try and do something like that. Yeah,
True. But yeah, in general, I do like this movie a lot. Very, very emotional. Probably the most emotional Marvel movie since Wakanda Forever. And those are really the only two emotional Marvel movies. And that one was surrounded out around obviously Chadwick Boseman's death. So you expect a different tone there. But this one I didn't really expect to kind of, tear up as much as I did, which I did find very surprising.
it's something really interesting that I've been thinking a lot about. That final climactic like dance party is as silly as it is. Like the song that plays in that is, The Dog Days of Summer, Florence and the Machine. That's like one of two songs on any Guardian soundtrack to even be released during our lifetimes, right? So it's kind of this weird thing of like, and that song was released in 2008, the same year Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, the MCU was started. So it's like kind of this really interesting thing of like, this is the final chapter of this trilogy that, spanned from when we were like 14 to now 23, almost 24 for you. And it's kind of like this 10-year thing of, and then this whole culmination of MCU. And this is kind of like that ending final chapter of this world. Like, yes, Endgame was the real end, but like the James Gunn leaving feels like an end of a whole nother era, and things have changed in a way. And I don't know if I'm ever really going to be into Marvel in the same way I was for that, 10 plus period of my life, 10 plus year period of my life. So I think it was like a very emotional moment. And I think it was a very calculated move by James Gunn to do that and to place that song in there for the people like us who grew up in that time. I think the pop in even just like the classic needle drops can be a cheap way to garner emotion, but it fucking works. So, and I still enjoyed it. So
Respect. And I believe the title of the song is The Dog Days Are Over. I think you said The Dog Days of Summer. Check that, roll the tape. But yeah, agreed. Florence and the Machine's great band. I really do like the inclusion of kind of modern music as well at the end and kind of tie it all together, like you said. But yeah, music wise, a couple of the needle scratches are ridiculously fun. No Sleep Till Brooklyn, that hallway fight is ridiculous. And then also another scene I think that people aren't really talking about that much is the Groot shoot 'em up scene where he pulls like 50 guns out of his chest cavity. That may be one of my favorite just action sequences in the entire franchise of the Guardians films. And it ends with him freaking skydiving with wings. OP Groot here. I don't love his character design, but I really like where they went with this character.
his character design got better from the holiday special. The holiday special was so bad. He's full robot. Yeah. This was a little bit more like tree like fleshed out a little bit, and they played with that idea more. But yeah, I'm still not a huge fan of it. He was badass though. Shout out Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel, he had to stay extra in the recording studio as well to record a different line.
Get a couple different lines in this time.
I wonder how much he got paid for just doing one line differently. Probably big bucks out here for Vinny boy.
Yeah, I think they just they're gonna make 3 more Fast movies in his honor because of it.
Hallelujah. Well, at least our content will continue with obviously the
Fast Conversation Part 2 will have to happen when we get all the Fast frame. You know what? Here's a question, Kody. And this is KHAP Chats, so we can go on this tangent.
Yeah.
Why have they not made like a Fast and Furious like streaming TV show? Is that kind of? I feel like that's kind of surprising at this point that we've never even gotten like a real hint at it of happening.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, obviously they've attempted a few different spinoffs.
It would go on, Peacock, I
That's what I was
guess,
gonna ask.
technically, because it's a universal property. So maybe that's part of the thing. But Peacock has started to do more stuff.
Nah, Peacock sucks, but if they were like, I feel like if they had an HBO affiliate, they 100% would have made a show by now, or maybe even like an Apple TV Plus would buy their show or something like that. But yeah, I don't know if they would have the kahunas to really put that on Peacock, and I don't really think it would do that well. I
Fast
don't
and
know.
Furious Spy. Well, there was an anime, Fast and Furious Spy Racers. Are you familiar with this?
I've never heard of that before.
It's on Netflix. It's an American computer animated streaming television series that premiered on Netflix on December 26, 2019, based on the Fast and Furious film series. The series executive producer. The sixth and final season, subtitled Homecoming, was released on December 17th, 2021. So
There were 6 seasons.
we missed 6 seasons about Tony Toretto, Dom Toretto's cousin. I'm sorry. I apologize, but listen. Okay, Kody,
Are you
well,
actually, is this actually real? I feel like you're just making this up. Tony Toretto had 6 seasons of animated Fast and Furious spin-off television on Netflix.
Cody, I think we're gonna have to watch this show.
Is this the next First Friday 5 out here?
I think it might be. This is really interesting. Okay, I think I did kind of know about this, but it had left my brain. 5.9 out of 10 on IMDb, not great. 83% Rotten Tomatoes.
That's
We
not
know
bad.
what that means. Okay, but a live action. I guess just the budget would be tough, and Universal's not really having that like streaming budget, like we said with Peacock. So maybe in the future, who knows?
This looks terrible. Just looking at the stock images on Google Images, it reminds me of like a Hot Wheels movie. Did you ever watch any Hot Wheels movies growing up, Korbin? Because this is like a carbon copy of those.
It does kind of look. I mean, Spy Racers is a terrible subtitle.
Interesting. Well, maybe that has been not the best for them on Netflix. They've been a little bit hesitant to maybe do a live action spin-off series, but I mean,
What do you think? Do you think this is like an adult? I don't know how like what the rating on this is. Like, if is it for young adults?
Gotta be for kids.
That's a weird thing to do, though. Why would you make a? It's like a crime. I don't know. We will investigate, and I also have to. It's unfortunate. I have to let Jackson know he has to watch 6 seasons of this show so we can talk about it on a fast conversation. Oh, well, sorry, Jackson.
Tough luck, buddy. You got more homework to do. But yeah, I like that. And I mean, with spin-off characters too, like I feel like they do have a lot of options of kind of who to spin off. Like anybody they've killed off too, they could just spin off Han.
Do a prequel. Yeah, you can do a prequel of any. I mean, if you're doing animated shows, you can do a prequel of everybody.
True. But give me a Gal Gadot and Han spinoff. Like I would probably watch that. So why not?
You're right. There's a lot of options. I mean, they're retconning characters into scenes. I mean, we've seen in the recent trailers, Jason Momoa was allegedly there for Fast Five. Noted Brazilian Jason Momoa.
True. True. That's actually really funny. I never thought of that. I mean, also Han came back from the dead, and that was never explained. So they can really do whatever the hell they want, I think.
Yeah. Respect to Fast and Furious. Go check out a Fast Conversation when that releases. It's going to be a fun one.
Also, just watch Fast Five. Great movie.
Okay, let's talk about John Wick Chapter 4, Cody.
So I did recently check out John Wick 4. Obviously, the culmination of Keanu Reeves as John Wick. Again, spoiler alert, blah, blah, blah. This movie's been out for 3 months. But I just got around to saying it. And anyways,
you didn't get it spoiled, did you?
I did not actually, which is pretty surprising.
I didn't either.
Nobody really cares enough to spoil it, I think. But anyways, my theater experience really fun. So basically, it's a pretty empty theater, just myself and a few other groups of people, obviously. But there were some people behind us who kept yelling like throughout the duration of the film, which I mean, it is what it is. It's a dumb action film. I don't like everyone was like, oh, when he tumbled down the stairs 100 times, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, get up, bro. And I was like, oh, okay, like I don't mind that. That's kind of funny. But the funny thing at the end, again, spoiler alert, when John Wick and what's his name? Donnie Yen? No.
Yeah, Donnie Yen.
Yeah, him and Donnie are having their showdown, obviously. Comes to the culmination point where Billy Skarsgård comes out and wants to finish the deal. Obviously, he ends up biting the dust from Jonathan himself. And when Bill Skarsgård got shot in the head, the people behind us yelled, "Adios, Joe Burrow." I thought that was a pretty good line. Had me cracking up pretty good. But yeah, John Wick 4, I thought it was good. I definitely like the third one better, but I thought it was a good conclusion. I kind of wish they didn't kill off John Wick. And I think him and Winston's relationship is definitely interesting. kind of been through the ringer a little bit through these three movies, and it finally I thought was at a decent point where everybody was kind of finally out, and then oh, John Wick's just dead. So I don't know. It kind of just seems like a lot of work just to not actually get out, which is disappointing for me.
Well, what if he's not dead, Kody? What do you think?
Um, I think he's dead, man. I mean, we saw his doom. Lawrence Fishburne's there mourning him. He's pretty official. You know, he doesn't do anything unless it's official business, I feel like. So I think he's gone, so I don't know.
It also took me a while to see the movie, like way longer than it would normally for me to see a new movie, like probably like a month or two. But I didn't have it spoiled. But the one thing I did see that was like an article from, like Film Discuss or Discussing Film or whatever, that was like, oh, after the success of John Wick Chapter 4, they're considering doing a John Wick 5. And then all the people were like, well, it kind of seemed like this was the last one. And that's the only thing I saw. So I thought, well, maybe he dies, but I didn't really think they'd do it. And then they do kill him. But if they're considering doing 5, Kody, maybe there's a chance they bring him back. I mean, this movie was extremely financially successful. Lionsgate is one of the few independent studios that's really putting out big box office hits like this. They will be putting out the Hunger Games prequel coming out this fall. But yeah, I don't know. John Wick Chapter 5, potentially. We're getting the ballerina spinoff that I think he is appearing in with Ana de Armas next year, maybe.
Yeah, and I mean, Ana de Armas, unless I'm mistaken, is not in any of these movies.
No.
So not really a spin-off. It's just something in the same
But,
universe, I guess. But maybe they'll bring back some of the characters from, these past films.
I think it's gonna be like the ballerina, like the people that he has to get his ticket punched by or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's the ballerina. That's the
She
connection.
should have just showed up in this film, but I digress. I think there are a lot of fun side characters that you could spin off.
This movie made $419 million.
Yeah, it may be the biggest steal in our movie draft, honestly, because it absolutely
shout out to Jeff for that one.
And Jeff, I believe, is absolutely killing everybody in the draft.
Primarily, he has the top movies, like the top
Mario,
3 movies: Mario, Dungeons, and in John Wick.
Yeah. So, and all those are low key 3 steals, other than Mario, which is Navi's pick. If I wasn't number 1, I probably would have picked Mario at number 2. If I'm being honest, I would watch John Wick 5. I would hope they would bring back Keanu for it. Story wise, obviously, it doesn't make sense, but it's the John Wick franchise. Who cares really about story or anything like that? Some other small things from the film too. I really like the big guy, the kind of kingpin-esque villain who's in it for a little bit, who eventually John Wick obviously kills. But I thought his character was really fun. The scene where they're playing poker and obviously Donnie Yen's like blind playing these poker games somehow. I don't really understand. And then all of a sudden he has like 5 of a kind, which doesn't even make sense in the name of poker. So just utterly ridiculous stuff like that, I think, is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the Japan stuff was all really cool. Yeah. The a lot of cool set pieces. This movie is overly long, I will say. I felt the runtime. Maybe they could have cut out like 1 or 2 stair falls, shorten up the runtime. Yeah. Did you think the final them there at sunrise looking over Paris, did you think that looked good?
I don't know if it looked good. I don't know if it was even good story wise either. It was kind of just bland ending, I thought of.
I thought it looked fucking awful. Like it was a computer generated background. Like it did not look. Did they film this using the volume? Am I mistaken? Has that have been in the final scene?
That is possible, actually. Yeah, I mean, do you think it's like a fake sunset? I didn't even think too much into that. Or do you think that?
I don't think they really filmed there at sunrise. I don't know. It didn't look convincing. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't disagree with there. I mean, everything these days is made on a green screen, so I doubt there probably weren't even stairs there. It was probably just Keanu falling on a green screen, and they just
here's a Screen Rant article. Why does the CGI in John Wick's ending look so fake?
Well, I guess you weren't alone there. The third act, it is what it is. It's the whole Western kind of shootout thing, and then
the rest of the movie looks incredible. I think like there's some. I mean, John Wick always has had good cinematography, but it's just strange that we're gonna put you on a hill overlooking Paris. That, I mean, it's a famous location, obviously, but I will say like the duel, while it's like kind of a dumb like tradition thing, it is a cool, like if you think about it, like these movies, how do you, like we always complain about Marvel movies always ending in the big CGI third act final fight, and I know they'd be like, oh, what could you do differently? This is an example of taking the action movie where you're not just going to kill the guy, you're not just going to have a big fight at the end, and kind of turning it on its head into something different at least. So I can appreciate that in the fourth movie they're not gonna, it should, not a regular old standoff.
I guess. And obviously they throw in the aspect of him and Donnie Yen are supposedly really, really good friends going back, so it's emotional and stuff too. And he has a
That
daughter,
stuff was meh,
so he doesn't want to kill him. Yeah, I don't really care about any of that crap, but it did go a different direction with it at least.
The whole, blind villain guy, that's cool. That's a classic.
Yeah. I thought that was cool as well, because I mean, normally when you see blind characters in film like that who are like ninjas and stuff, you don't really get the sense that they are blind at all. They kind of can still see everything. Him using kind of the beepers to kind of mark where people are at, I thought was super creative and realistic. And yeah, Donnie Yen's badass, so I can't complain anything that he was in the movie for at all.
Now let's get into KHAP Chats Volume 4.
Yeah.
We're stealing it from you, James Gunn. We're making a Volume 4. Screw you. All right, so the first game we're going to play is a little bit of 6 Degrees of Dave head-to-head, Kody.
Oh, man.
So we're going to try and connect to Dave, see who can do it in the fewest moves possible, and we're going to draw a card from the Cinephile game to compete. First card will be yours. You ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Anne Hathaway is who you have to connect to Dave Bautista. And then for me, I have to connect Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Nice.
Which I don't know who else. Oh, man.
That's a good one, actually. Action stars. Who would win in a fight, Arnie or Dave Bautista? That's a
dude. I don't know. Why can't I think of
Arnold Schwarzenegger? I'll be back.
Okay, I can do.
Get to the chopper.
For some reason, I'm in a weird thing where like I can't think of anybody that's in an Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like I don't know the names of any. I guess. Okay, I guess the kid is okay. Yeah, I could do that. Okay, I got this.
I feel like I should be able to do this. I can't. I definitely found a path already, but I feel like there's gotta be a quicker one. But I'll definitely go first. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with Anne Hathaway. I'm gonna go to Les Miserables, which of course has Hugh Jackman, one of my favorite working actors in that movie, and that should lead us along a fairly easy train to Marvel, I would think. Hugh Jackman, well, he's gonna be in Deadpool too. That would have been easy, but he is also in.
You're on the wrong Marvel.
I know. I'm stuck in the wrong universe.
You got to get to a different.
I'll just go to X-Men Days of Future Past. Well, it doesn't really matter. And I'll just pick Charles Xavier, Patrick Stewart, and then I'll go Patrick Stewart in the Multiverse of Madness with, whoever you really want. Benedict Cumberbatch, Infinity War, Dave Bautista. What is that, 5?
Anne Hathaway. So starting with Anne. Okay, so Hugh Jackman's 1.
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart, Benedict Cumberbatch, Dave Bautista. So
4. Okay, that's not bad. Not bad.
I think I can do this. Ready?
Yeah.
Arnold in T2.
I'll be back.
Eddie Furlong is that kid's name, right?
Yeah.
And he's in American History X with Edward Norton.
Yeah. It's like, what else is he in? Yeah. That's about it.
And Edward Norton is in The Incredible Hulk with Tony Stark. He's in the post-credit scene.
Okay. I'll give you that.
Robert Downey Jr., who is in Infinity War with Dave Bautista. So that's Eddie Furlong, Edward Norton, Robert Downey, Dave Bautista. We both got 4, Kody.
That was pretty good. Could you have got? No, probably not.
I'm editing this, and I just want to say, yes, I know. Dave Bautista and Edward Norton are in Glass Onions together.
Let's quickly check what the quickest route for both of those would be.
There's got to be an interstellar link where you can just go straight to Infinity War. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Michael Caine.
Anne Hathaway to Dave Bautista. You could do WrestleMania 24 to Raven Simone to the Princess Diaries 2 Royal Engagement. You could also do the holiday special, or you could do any Guardians to Chris Pratt to Bride Wars with Anne Hathaway. Chris Pratt and Anne Hathaway in Bride Wars together.
What the hell is Bride Wars?
Andrew Scott in Spectre and Alice Through the Looking Glass with both of those people.
I like that. That's deep bet.
Bradley Cooper was in Valentine's Day with Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway's in Valentine's Day. There's a million people in that. You could have probably found.
You could have picked anybody from the Guardians cast. Yeah.
Kody. Russell Crowe is in Les Mis. Russell Crowe is in Thor: Love and Thunder. So there's your Les Mis route.
Oh, dude, I was gonna go. Well, I guess it would have been the same steps actually. I was gonna go Hugh Jackman to the Prestige and then pick up Christian Bale.
So there's a lot of routes, but really you only took one more extra.
Actually, Dude, I forgot that the Guardians are in Thor: Love and Thunder, because I could have just gone Les Mis, Hugh Jackman, Prestige with Christian Bale, and then Thor: Love and Thunder. They're all in that, and that's
Yeah.
really what I was going to do. But I was like,
Well,
oh,
and I mean, yeah, if you go Interstellar, Michael Caine to Christian Bale, you can always get to Christian Bale so easily in
true.
a lot of ways. All right, Arnie to Dave Bautista. Knock at the Cabin with McKenna Kerrigan, who was an Aftermath with Arnie. The Expendables with Steve Austin was in the WWE Royal Rumble in 2004.
Love that.
Yeah, these are some tough ones. I think yeah, Ronda Rousey was in Expendables 3, also WrestleMania 35. I don't know if we're counting WrestleManias. Dwayne Johnson was in the Rundown, also WrestleMania 30 with Dave Bautista. Yeah. Danny DeVito in Twins. I thought about it. I was like, who's in an Arnie movie? I was like, why might I just have to do Danny DeVito in Twins? And I guess Relative Strangers, him and Dave Bautista were in together. So
Interesting.
We tied though, Kody. So why don't we just collectively pick? We have to pick one of the movies that we use to link to talk about is how this is going to work. So we can either talk about Les Mis, X-Men Days of Future Past, Multiverse of Madness, American History X, or Infinity War.
So basically just all Marvel movies.
Or T2, which we've talked about. We've talked about T2. We've also talked about X-Men Days of Future Past before.
Yeah.
I mean, American History X, I guess, is there for us.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that. That's a pretty good movie, I think. What was the other ones? Oh, Les Mis, I actually haven't even seen, to be fair. And we could talk about Multiverse of Madness, I guess, a little bit. Have we talked about that in the pod? I feel like a little bit.
I think we did when it came out.
Yeah.
We did our whole recast in the Multiverse of Madness last May.
Yeah. So yeah, we can definitely touch on American History X, I think.
Well, let's talk about Edward Norton, because that was the connection. What do you think about Edward Norton starting off?
I think he's a very good actor, honestly, and maybe he's just a little bit too intense for his own good. Obviously, losing the Hulk role was pretty much his own doing, but he has been in a ton of good movies. American History X is probably one of his better performances, really. But
when you say he lost the Hulk, I know what you mean. You know, he was trying to take creative control, but like explain to the people what happened there.
I mean, pretty much that. I think obviously the Incredible Hulk was one of the founding kind of movies in the MCU. They were still trying to find their footing, and Edward Norton really had a clear vision for the character and where he wanted it to go. Similar to kind of what was going on with Edgar Wright and Ant-Man, like kind of directors wanting or I guess director actors, whatever. Edward Norton wasn't directing, but he wanted here. But yeah, I mean, they just wanted kind of control over the movie. They didn't want the studio interference. They didn't care about a larger universe. And Edward Norton just wanted to make a really good Incredible Hulk movie, which I think is fair. But then when it came time to kind of bring everybody together in the Avengers, the studio was like, you don't play too well with us, so you probably won't play too well with others. And obviously recast that role to Mark Ruffalo. But I mean, it's kind of freed him up to do literally anything else he wants.
Which is not a whole lot, but yeah.
Well, I mean, he's been doing more stuff recently, and I mean, he wasn't stuck in a 10-year contract like Mark Ruffalo or any of the
other... that's a thing. We can put a pin in that. Looking at Mark Ruffalo's career before he gets into Marvel and after, it's a stark difference. I mean, we luckily still get like Spotlight thrown in there, but we're never gonna get a Zodiac or anything like that. Again, I don't think.
Yeah, they probably will never kill off the Hulk either. So yeah, he might be around a while. But Edward Norton's great. I mean, Fight Club I love. Obviously, Glass Onion was one of my favorite movies from last year, and he's obviously pretty much the lead role in that, in a sense. In American History X, the film I've only seen once. I think maybe I watch it with you.
I was about to say I literally just thought I was like, maybe we watched this together. I think we did. Maybe in Hilltop. Funny enough, mentioning the Edward Norton thing, the same thing happened on American History X. Him and Eddie Furlong were like making changes to the script as they were shooting it, and the guy who wrote the script like was so mad he like left the project, and I think at one point like didn't even want like his name put on it, and yeah, it feels like the movie's not even finished to this day because of it.
That's crazy. And maybe, I mean, it sounds like because I mean, he has Edward Norton the reputation of being like a diva, I guess. Maybe that's the wrong word, but I feel like that's kind of where it's coming at. And the fun thing about that is too, like in Birdman, which is one of his better roles, he's pretty much kind of playing that character in real life, which is most of the actors in that movie doing a similar thing. Yeah, American History X, I could be wrong, but I believe he was nominated for Best Actor in this. Could be way off there, but also Eddie Furlong. I mean, what the hell's happened to that kid? I think he hasn't been doing too much past T2 and American History X, and specifically in this movie, American History X. I think he actually is really good. Shout out Eddie Furlong. The kid's got chops. I don't think he's a kid anymore, so I probably shouldn't be saying that. But I do genuinely think he's a good actor in this film. It is kind of a dark story about kind of a neo-Nazi coming to terms with, is this the best ideology after going to prison for like curb stomping a guy basically, which is pretty graphic and intense. But I think it has a good message to the story. It's a very dark movie. Like I said, the ending is not the nicest, and this is not a movie that's going to make you feel good at all. But I think it is an important one and a really good portrayal, of these characters.
You are correct. He did appear, or he did receive an Academy Award nomination for the performance.
I think that's fair.
Apparently, Eddie Furlong may have appeared in Terminator Dark Fate partially for just a little bit in 2019. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there. But yeah, I mean, obviously, American History X is a very like charged subject matter, and especially like if you look at it in the context of the last few years and the way that like neo-Nazism, post-Trump era or like Trump era, like kind of took an interesting hold in America. And you think of events like Charlottesville and different demonstrations like that. And it'd be really scary to think about a movie like this. Obviously, its stances are not like pro-Nazism at all, but it's still like very harsh ideology and imagery that is, being put onto film. There are some really interesting ideas. The dinner scene, I think, is one that like is really well acted and well written, despite there being a lot of like terrible things being said. I think it is a proper portrait of like some of the awful like way Americans think and feel about other people in their country, and that's really unfortunate. A couple fun facts about this movie: Edward Norton turned down Saving Private Ryan to do this movie instead. Do you think good choice, bad choice? I mean, he gets an Oscar nom for it, I guess. But
yeah, that is fair, I guess, in his mind, probably just because that is the right choice. But hey, man, I probably would have been in Saving Private Ryan. Obviously, war classic, one of the best probably made movies of all time, one of the most important made movies of all time. It would be interesting to see what role he would be in. Maybe he's replacing like Vin Diesel or maybe even Matt Damon at the end, who is obviously cast as kind of an unknown in that role at the time. Which when it came out, he was not unknown anymore, which is pretty funny. But yeah, I would have loved to seen Edward Norton in Saving Private Ryan. Him and I don't know if him and Spielberg ever worked together. So
yeah, I don't know. This obviously doesn't say like which role, because obviously there's a lot of, it's probably the Damon role, because that's the whole thing. Him and like Edward Norton and Ben Affleck, they were all kind of working and being in movies at the same time. You haven't seen Rounders, have you?
I've not. That's
good
on my
movie.
watch list though. Yeah, I think you like that movie a lot.
Oh yeah, I if I was more into poker, I'd probably love it even more. But because I don't really understand poker, it loses a little bit. But same year, 1998, he has a nice little run here, late 90s. I've never seen Primal Fear, but I know a lot of people love it. But American History X and Rounders in 98, Fight Club in 99. That's pretty good couple movie run there.
Oh yeah, late 90s Norton was definitely prime. Primal Fear, his performance of that is ridiculously good. I would say even better than American History X or Fight Club. So yeah, I would definitely check that one out. Also a really messed up movie, but I feel like that's kind of what he likes. The harsher, the deeper that he can get into these characters, I think that's really kind of what he enjoys doing in acting so much, I think.
And he's now become a little bit of a Wes Anderson guy a little bit now in the past few years. Grand Budapest, Isle of Dogs. He's going to be in the French Dispatch, or he was in the French Dispatch. I mean, I don't think he's going to be in, or maybe he's in Asteroid City. So there you go. Yeah.
Well, literally every actor in Hollywood, I think, is in that movie in some stance.
It's fair. The poster is just a list of names down one side.
In the trailer, I've seen it a couple of times in theaters, but at the end of it, it just like runs through this list of Hollywood actors, and there's really like 50 people running across the street. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure he'll be in it, but Wes Anderson wise, Isle of the Dogs is probably my favorite of his too, which is an underrated animated film, but he's pretty much one of the lead dogs in that, along with Bryan Cranston. So shout out Isle of the Dogs. If you haven't seen that, check it out. A great Edward Norton performance.
He was in Moonrise Kingdom, I guess. That was probably the first one that they did together. The Illusionist, 2006, Kody. That's a classic. The head-to-head prestige battle. It's always a great episode idea in the future, Same movies released in the year. You got your Deep Impacts, Armageddons, your Illusionist prestige type stuff.
True. I've not seen The Illusionist. I don't know if I ever will. Paul Giamatti's in it too, so it's a good cast. I mean, it can't be better than The Prestige, unfortunately. But hey, magic movies mid 2000s. It was hot and heavy at that time. So respect to him for jumping on the magic trend.
Any other thoughts on American History X, Cody?
Not really. I would recommend it, honestly. Like I said, it is pretty dark, but I think it's an interesting story and definitely one that, especially in today's America, I think maybe a few more people could watch. So
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one that if you're a movie person, you should definitely at least see once. The cinematography is pretty interesting. It is shot entirely in black and white.
yeah.
And I do think Edward Norton is fantastic in the role.
Eddie
So.
Furlong is good too. The rewatchability on it, I don't know.
It's got Ethan Suplee also. Shout out to My Name is Earl, the man, also in The Wolf of Wall Street. He's a king.
Yeah. Love Ethan Suplee as well, but Eddie Furlong, man, get him more stuff. I don't know what's going on.
All right, let's move on to the next game, a round of Blockbuster, where we're gonna draw one of the cards and go head to head. Winner gets to choose the movie again. So there will be a winner this time, Cody.
We'll see.
All right, so shuffling them up. The card is movie. Oh gosh, movies with superheroes, Cody. This is gonna go on forever.
Oh, we're gonna have some superhero fatigue here shortly.
We have to make a list here, okay?
Oh,
all right, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Iron Man.
Oh, okay. Are we doing sequels or no? Let's say no.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Avengers.
Ant-Man.
Thor.
Black Panther.
Eternals.
Shang-Chi.
The Incredible Hulk, of course.
What's the Batman, like if I do the Dark Knight and then you just can't do?
I guess those are different. If it's different,
same series, different series. Okay, so yeah. I say the Dark Knight. So the Nolan trilogy's gone.
I'll say Captain America. I knew we forgot something.
Spider-Man.
Which one?
The Spider-Man, the Homecoming trilogy.
Homecoming. Okay. Spider-Man Raimi.
Amazing Spider-Man.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Venom.
Oh, I like that. Morbius.
Nice. Guardians.
Black Widow.
Doctor Strange. Has
Nice.
not been said.
Are we missing any Marvels? Surely. Captain Marvel. There we go.
Blade.
Shout out Wesley Snipes. X-Men.
Deadpool.
Nice.
Are we calling that like the entire Fox franchise is gone now for X-Men? I mean, we might as well because we know them all.
What do you mean Wolverine? That's different, right? X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Okay, well then I'm gonna say Days of Future Past because that's different, or not Days of Future, First Class. So now all of the X-Men are gone.
That's different. Okay, Batman v Superman. That's
Wonder Woman.
Man of Steel.
Fair enough, I guess. Chronicle.
Batman 89.
Fantastic Four.
The Batman.
Good one. I feel like we're definitely still missing Marvel ones. This is great content. I'm sure people would love and listen to this. Can I say Fan Four Stick?
Yeah, fine.
Different movie. I didn't say Silver Surfer. That wouldn't count.
True. Am I missing the Batman one somewhere? Batman 1966. That counts. Adam West.
Wasn't that a TV? Okay, yeah, sure,
No,
whatever. Sky High.
Green Lantern.
Green Hornet.
Fuck, that was my next one. What's that one guy's name? Hellboy.
Deadpool. Or not Deadpool, sorry. Daredevil.
Oh, damn.
That's what I meant.
Am I missing any? I can't think of this one guy's name for some reason. I'll tell you what, we've named a lot of fucking superhero movies here.
Oh, we haven't named. Yeah, there's a ton left.
Super.
What'd you say?
Super with Rainn Wilson.
Okay. Can I say Superman Returns?
Oh yeah, we haven't even been. Superman, Christopher Reeves. We haven't said that, have we?
Like 1989 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider.
Wow, nice. These fucking terrible Marvel ones I just eliminate from my brain, I think. I was gonna say something, I forgot. Oh, Mystery Men.
Watchmen.
Nice. That's another good pull. Kick-Ass.
Nice. Megamind.
That's a great fucking movie. Shit, dude. I think
I don't think we got all the Marvel ones, honestly.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of. We're missing somebody in there.
They're like recent stuff, right? I don't know. There's so many TV shows. It's kind of hard to.
You said Black Panther.
I think we got all the Marvel.
Who else is in Civil War?
Like there's no Vision movie. There's not a Don Cheadle movie yet. Kody, are you gonna have to tap out?
Oh man, dude, I can't remember the name of this one guy. I think I'll tap out. Yeah, I'll tap.
I had the Punisher movie locked and loaded as well.
Right.
And didn't they make an Elektra movie, like a Daredevil spinoff?
Yeah, they did. They did.
So yeah, I still had
Also,
two locked, but
Catwoman. There we go. There's no.
oh, Catwoman, yeah.
All the terrible
I think we missed. Yeah, we missed. Let's count. Ready?
Oh, Judge Dredd. There's another one. What? I can't think of the name of this guy. Or The Crow. We could even count that.
We got 47 different ones that we named, not using sequels. So I think that's pretty good, Kody. And I'm sure the people were very. If we missed one, comment below what we missed.
Spawn. I could not remember his name for the hell of me.
Is there a Spawn movie?
You know who Spawn is? Yeah, there's a Spawn movie.
There's also superhero movie, right? Shazam, we forgot.
That's a pretty good one. Black Adam.
We forgot the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, they're not really heroes.
Well, you just said Black Adam.
Hey, The Rock.
Unbreakable, Split. We forgot that. The Howard the Duck movie. Logan, I think, could we have counted that as a different? Man, you said X-Men Origins.
I said Wolverine. The Wolverine.
Birdman. That's a movie with superheroes in it, technically. But no, I think we did pretty good. 47 is.
We named like 30 movies total, so I think we did okay.
Yeah.
Probably more than that. I'd say we did pretty dang good.
Yeah. Werewolf by Night.
Fucking great movie as well.
Birds of Prey.
Every movie you named off out of the past like 10, I was like, oh man, what a great movie. I think you deserve the dub there just for naming.
We forgot the New Mutants, Kody. Oh my god. Another X-Men.
How can we forget the kickoff to the new franchise, man?
Well, here's the thing, Kody. Now we get to pick one of these superhero movies to talk about.
Hey, you got your pick of the litter here, man. Anything you're gonna go for.
Oh man. Well, we've obviously talked about a lot of these. Let's talk about Blade, Kody. And maybe we'll jump around to some other movies. So are you excited for the new Blade movie? I mean, it seems like it's in production hell at this point.
Yeah, I mean the writer's strike obviously didn't help it either, but seems like they couldn't really find a director that they liked for it. I think the cast is solid. Obviously, they kind of did a mini spinoff in Eternals. I believe they had the voice of who's playing Blade? What's his name? I'm sorry.
Mahershala Ali, dude.
Yeah,
one of your favorites.
Ali. I don't know how I'm blanking that, but Mahershala Ali, I mean, his voice was technically in the post-credit scene, I believe.
Yeah, him and Kit
Harington is kind of the spin-off character, I guess.
Black Knight.
Like that core cast, but I don't know. It depends. Just because like we haven't really seen any vampires in the MCU at all. I don't really know what kind of movie they're even looking to make. Because obviously, with Deadpool coming in, the R rating is available there, and obviously the original Wesley Snipes films, I believe, maybe not the third one actually. I believe the first two were definitely R rated.
First one definitely is, yeah.
Yeah, and like Wesley Snipes as Blade, I do actually really enjoy that. So maybe just bringing him back in some capacity too would be really fun. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's like you said, and with the whole writer's strike as well right now, I think it's definitely in kind of just development hell.
Blade 3, of course, featuring Ryan Reynolds, is rated R as well. So there you go.
I think Jessica Biel, is she in that movie too?
Parker Posey is.
Parker Posey?
I don't know if Jessica Biel is.
Yeah, Jessica Biel is in that.
Oh yeah, there you go, Jessica Biel. I mean, it's got Dominic Purcell of Prison Break fame, right?
Yeah, he's Dracula, evidently. That's freaking awesome. I need to watch that movie again. Just see Dominic Purcell play Dracula. But yeah, Blade Trinity, not my favorite of the franchise, but it does have Ryan Reynolds, so can't complain.
Yeah, I really like the first Blade movie. It's like It came out in, let's see, 1998. It is the most like 1998, early 2000s movie. The way it's edited and shot, it feels kind of like a music video at a lot of points. But it's just like uber style from Wesley Snipes the entire time. He is the most badass, smooth vampire killer ever. Obviously, I'm just some white dude on a podcast right now, but like I feel like he doesn't get enough love as like being one of the first black superheroes seen on screen. Like a lot of people don't recognize that or appreciate that. And it is really incredible what he did. And they're really honestly a really sick trilogy of movies with some awesome action. They're super gory. If you've never seen Blade, the original, go check it out. It's really fun. Wesley Snipes is the best.
I agree. Stunt work as well, and kind of just action set pieces are definitely very, very well done throughout the trilogy. Like you said, I think this is kind of the forgotten superhero movies. Kind of came around the time.
And this is the thing. This movie came out before Spider-Man, before X-Men. This was 1998. This was the beginning of superheroes. And it's forgotten about often.
And people always talk, like you said, the first black superhero with Black Panther, and then the first R-rated like superhero or whatever with like Deadpool or Logan. No, like Blade did this 20 years ago, and nobody just cares anymore for some reason. But yeah, I think the trilogy as a whole is definitely overrated. I think I may like the second one even a little bit better than the first one. But like you said, stylistically, I think they're all give and take, pretty much the same thing. But Wesley Snipes, man, mid-90s, early 2000s, he was a guy in Hollywood. He really did have a lot of good projects, I think. Obviously, he's been a little bit more controversial as the years have rolled around here. I believe he had a brief stint in prison, but I'd say these movies were 100% a part of his peak.
Definitely go check out Blade if you've never seen them. And listen, all the pre-production hell that the new Blade movie is going through, like I am excited to see the end product because Mahershala Ali is a fantastic actor, and because Mia Goth, who has recently been cast, is like somebody that I'm been so interested in, and honestly she's probably going to play a vampire, and that's fucking sick. She's perfect for horror movies and perfect for stuff like that. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm hopeful that it'll be decent.
Oh yeah, I think eventually it will be.
We just probably won't see it for 2-3 years if it ever happens. My worry is it gets canceled. I never want that to happen. I want Mahershala to have his chance.
Yeah, I would be surprised just because Mahershala Ali is attached already.
Literally, I'm pretty sure they were about to start shooting. They had a director, then the director either left or got fired. They hired and then they were rewriting it, and then of course, like we said, the writer's strike. So it's like it was supposed to probably already be done shooting at this point.
Yeah, they should let the Werewolf by Night guy, the music guy, do
Giacchino.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty good, at least compared stylistically to Werewolf by Night. I think that would make sense. Obviously, it's a little different character-wise, but I think that'd definitely be an interesting choice. I'm sure he's maybe been talking to them about it a little bit with the whole Marvel machine, but that'd be, I think, a good pick for me.
I don't hate that idea at all. Cody, I want to let you talk about Megamind. What's so great about Megamind?
I think Megamind, again, maybe a little bit underrated, maybe a little bit forgotten. I think this is probably one of the best animated films of the 2010s or 2000s when it was released. I think it was like 08, 010 it came out. Whatever, that mid 2000s kind of time period. There's a ton of animation flying out, and I think this got lost in the sauce a little bit. Especially, this is maybe the beginning of some superhero fatigue for some people as well, so it's kind of an afterthought. But yeah, Will Ferrell kills it.
This is the thing. This top 6: Will Ferrell, Jonah Hill, Brad Pitt, Tina Fey, David Cross, Ben Stiller as voice actors in a PG movie in 2010 is really weird. I think also because it's like the DreamWorks thing. That's probably also why it doesn't get as much recognition.
100%. And it must have not done too well at the box office, because I think this would have been a really good franchise to expand on, which is something DreamWorks really does a lot. I feel like most of their films, they do always have a
$321 million, Cody. I mean, it was no Monsters versus Aliens or Kung Fu Panda 2 or Madagascar. That's the thing. I think in the comparison of the DreamWorks greater scope, maybe it was not a huge success, and I'm sure they paid this cast pretty well to be in it. So.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, obviously Brad Pitt, pretty big star. Will Ferrell.
I mean, Will Ferrell was nominated for favorite butt kicker in 2011 at the Kids' Choice Awards. You would think it had a chance.
Hey, kids loved it. Adults loved it. Everybody was on board. I'm sure it won some MTV awards as well. But yeah, man, give me some more Megamind. I think superhero wise, it is pretty creative. Jonah Hill has a really fun villain too. Before he was kind of big, but for me, the standout is kind of David Cross as the sidekick. I don't know why, but especially his voice work, I'm a massive fan of. Obviously, he was number one on your most underrated actors list. I don't even know if Megamind was brought up in that discussion, unfortunately. That's the cool thing about it too. It's kind of a gray area of who's good and who's bad. There's like this Superman character played by Brad Pitt who pretty much fakes his own death and goes into purgatory. And then Megamind like takes over the city basically because he was the villain always getting defeated by Superman. But then he ends up kind of being the hero in the end because he tries to create another villain, but then it goes terribly wrong. And basically, Megamind's a good guy in the end. He just didn't like Brad Pitt's character too much. I believe it was Metro Man was the character.
Yeah, that is the one. In fact, Metro Man.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Great movie, regardless.
Let's move on to our next round.
Do it.
We're going to play a round of traditional Cinephile, which I don't think we've ever played together, Kody. So the way this works, let's do a best 2 out of 3 here because these rounds go pretty quick. Or they can go long. We'll see. We'll see how skilled you are. The way it works is I draw a card. For example, it'd be Dwayne Johnson. And then it is literally just a chain of how long we can go back and forth naming people and movies that they're in. So since I draw Dwayne Johnson, you then have to name a movie that he's in. So just play a quick practice round. What's a movie Dwayne Johnson's in? Fast 5. Then I would say Vin Diesel. Then you have to name another Vin Diesel movie, avoiding sequels.
Man, he's not in too much of the Fast and Furious. Pitch Black.
Okay, and then I couldn't tell you who's in the Riddick series, so I would lose, right? So that's how you play the game, and we'll do best out of 3. So we'll switch who's got the movies and who's got the actors. Let's start with the first card, and this is your card, Nicole Kidman.
Okay, some movies. What's a good Nicole Kidman flick? Lion.
The AMC ad.
Yeah. Is there any other name left?
Well, they play Jurassic World in it, and they also play Wonder Woman.
So Chris Pratt basically. Yeah, I'm gonna say Lion.
Lion. Okay, well, I do know because of our streaming recommendation episode that we just did. It is a Dev Patel feature, so I'm gonna say Dev Patel for you, Kody.
Love me some Dev Patel. I'm gonna go. Oh, what's the name of that movie? Why am I blanking today?
You're cheating, Kody.
No, I'm not. Okay. All right, it's
The Green Knight.
I figured out. No, not The Green Knight. That's the obvious pick. I'm gonna go with a movie that I don't know if I can name any other actors in it, and that's a Slumdog Millionaire.
Well, Kody, you couldn't think of the title, so fuck you. I'm gonna say the director of it, and you have to name another movie that they directed. Danny Boyle. Fuck you, Kody.
Nice. Fucking Danny Boyle. Oh man. What else has he directed? Did he direct Steve Jobs? Did he direct
He
that?
did direct Steve Jobs. Look at you, Kody. Some other Danny. Are you ready for this? Danny Boyle features Sunshine, Millions,
Sunshine.
Shallow Grave, Train Spotting, T2, Train Spotting 2, whatever it's called. Yesterday, the Beatles flick.
I actually want to watch that, but I heard it wasn't very good.
Yeah. So Steve Jobs. We'll continue the train on in Steve Jobs. I mean, Michael Fassbender.
How do you not say Seth Rogen, dude? Come on. Fassbender.
It's got what's her name from Titanic? Kate Winslet. Yeah. Kate Winslet and Jeff Daniels. Lots of great people in Steve Jobs.
Fassbender. What's the movie where he has a box on his head? It's like Dave or something. I can't remember the name of it.
Pick a different movie.
I'm just gonna say something else then. Fassbender, man, he hasn't been in too much. Obviously, I want to say X-Men, but it's just such obvious casting. But I'll just say X-Men First Class. Dude, what's the name of this movie? Fassbender.
Ford versus Ferrari. No, he's not in that. That's just real life. Ha! X-Men First Class has a great villain, Kevin Bacon, in it. But if I say that, then you're gonna say Footloose, and then I can't name anybody else that's in Footloose, so I'm not gonna say Kevin Bacon.
I looked up the movie with Michael Fassbender with the thing on his head called Frank.
Yeah, great flick.
To pull that because I don't.
It's like the paper mache face, right?
Domhnall Gleeson's there, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, me neither. There's a paper mache face. That's I know. X-Men First Class also has. I mean, I could say Split Boy, but you're gonna say Wanted again or whatever, and I can't even remember. Was that a Jolie flick? I couldn't tell you. I also have to think of what his name is.
Split Play? You're struggling on Split Play?
Yeah, what is this? James McAvoy.
There
I'm
you
just
go.
gonna say James McAvoy. um,
You're really tempting me to go down the wanted train here. James McAvoy. What other movies is he in? I'll say The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
and I'll say Tilda Swinton.
Snowpiercer.
Ed Harris.
Radio.
I do not know what that is. So you win, Kody.
Cuba Gooding Jr. joint, baby.
Shout out. Okay, so you win round 1. Now on to round 2.
I feel like this game is like who can name more obscure movies or actors first.
I mean, it's a little bit how. I mean, if you want to be a real, yeah. I mean, you can win it easily. Sometimes it really just depends. Kristen Wiig, and I get to name the first movie. So
yeah.
I will say, Wonder Woman 1984.
I'll go the main man himself, Pedro Pascal.
I'll say, not a lot of movies, a lot of TV stuff, Game of Thrones, Mandalorian. But he is in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Nice. The only other person I know in that film is the great actor, probably the best of our generation, Nicolas Cage.
I'll say Kick-Ass.
Nice. I'll go Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
He is in Superbad.
There's got to be some deeper cuts here with this, right? Who's in Superbad for nothing? I'll just say Bill Hader.
It Chapter 2.
Oh, you're ready for Bill Hader. Bill Skarsgård.
I knew you were going Bill Hader from the fucking jump, brother. Bill Skarsgård. Oh, Those Who Wish Me Dead. Is that what it's called? No. That's not what it is. Is it? No, fuck. What's that?
I don't know what that is.
I'm going to see if it's the right movie real quick. No, that's not. That's the fucking Angelina Jolie. There's a Bill Skarsgård Netflix movie with Tom Holland in it. Oh, what is that movie called?
Cherry?
No. It's got a really dumb title. Well, regardless, I can just say Justin Long. What movie is Justin Long in? Okay, Barbarian.
Thank you for naming actors in the movie you're gonna say as well. I love that.
Yeah, but I just put you in a fucking box.
I mean, there's some Justin Long's flicks.
Yeah, but I get to name it, so
I mean that's your problem.
No, it's your problem.
I can't even remember the girl's name, if I'm being honest. So yeah, I'll say Justin Long.
Justin Long is in Drag Me to Hell. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Yes, he is. Drag Me to Hell, the 2009 Sam Raimi feature. Drag Me to Hell is my movie here, Kody.
I've never heard of that film. Sam Raimi? Who's a Sam Raimi actor? And why would Justin Long? You should have said Live Free and Die Hard. That's a great film.
Well, Kody, there probably is somebody who's in this movie because there is one person that is in every Sam Raimi movie.
Oh yeah, Bruce Greenwood.
That's not his name.
What's his name? Bruce something.
All right, we're gonna count that as a loss. It's Bruce Campbell.
Hey, I knew Bruce. That's all that matters.
Okay, so it's tied up 2-2.
Well played round there. Well played round.
What is that movie called? I gotta look up what that movie's called.
I have no idea.
Dude, it's the worst movie ever. It's got a crazy cast though. It's got Bill Skarsgård, Tom Holland. It's really sad. It's like a depressing movie.
The Devil All the Time.
The Devil All the Time. That's what it is.
Evidently, Robert Pattinson is in it as well.
Yes, Robert Pattinson plays like a preacher in the South who does sexual assaults.
Oh, and Harry Melling's in it too. The guy from the chess stuff. Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, it's got a little bit. I mean, Sebastian Stan as well. Riley Keough, who I think is like Elvis's granddaughter.
Elvis's what?
I think Riley Keough is Elvis's granddaughter.
Oh, I thought you were talking about in the movie. It's like what movie?
No, like in real life.
Nice, cool, good for her.
Shout out nepotism.
Love me some nepo babies.
It's 2-2. We're moving on to the third round.
Oh, tiebreaker incoming.
You get to be the movie guy, so it's kind of an advantage to you.
Probably an advantage. Yeah, we'll take it.
Winona Ryder, Kody. We struggled with this one, actually in our trivia contest, but
when we teamed up to do 6 Degrees of Dave,
we couldn't think of any Winona movies.
Yeah, she's not in many. And I'll kick it off with Beetlejuice. It's a good starter.
They're making Beetlejuice 2 with
Jenna Ortega.
Jenna Ortega playing her daughter, apparently.
I'm into
Michael
it.
Keaton, of course, the famed Beetle Boy.
But, Keaton's been in a lot. I'll say Cars.
How old do you think Michael Keaton is, Cody?
Gotta be 65. He's probably 60. He's probably not that old, actually. There's no way. He's 70?
71.
Oh my God. Dude's probably gonna bite it in a couple years. That's crazy.
Let's hope not. Michael Keaton in Cars, huh? Well,
shout out to his plastic surgeon.
do you know any other Larry the Cable Guy movies, Cody?
Shit. Possibly. It's up to you.
I'm not gonna say that, but I'll go Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson. I really just want to say Cars again, but I guess not. Wow. I'll say the Royal Tenenbaums. Love that
Ben
movie.
Stiller,
Beat the Parents.
De Niro.
Actually, something else. Joker.
Okay. Zazie Beetz.
Deadpool 2.
Brad Pitt.
Nice. That's a good pull.
I should have said the kid. What's his name? I don't know. He's in Hunt for the Wilder People.
Oh, I actually don't know either. That would have been a good one. Brad Pitt movies. He's in so much. Ocean's 13.
Julian Dennison. Shout out to him.
Oh yeah,
Ocean's 13. Matt Damon. Making it hard for you, Cody.
Yeah. Thanks. The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Jude Law.
I'll go Sherlock Holmes.
You didn't want to go Crimes of Grindelwald or whatever. Dumbledore, Secret of Dumbledore. RDJ.
The Judge.
Robert Duvall.
Shit, I didn't know his name. I didn't think you did. Yeah,
Cody, he is the titular judge.
Robert Duvall. Is he in Apocalypse Now? Is that somebody else?
Robert Duvall is in also Vera Farmiga, Cody, one of our favorites.
Not really.
Oh, he is in Apocalypse Now, Cody. Marlon Brando.
Superman, the original. Christopher Reeves.
Christopher Reeves.
Oh shit. Well, yeah, of course. Is Christopher Reeves in anything else? No sequels here. I think he got paralyzed too soon to really be in anything else. I think that's definitely a cutoff point for me.
Well, you put yourself into that hole.
Yeah, very much.
Apparently Somewhere in Time is really his other big.
Nice. I'll have to check it out. I do like me some Christopher Reeves. So.
Yeah, he's in some stuff, but not a whole lot, to be fair. So I win. So now we get all those movies to choose from.
That was a long round.
I want to talk about Steve Jobs, Cody. I mean, Cody, what do you think about that? Well, I want to talk about Danny Boyle actually a little bit.
Really?
Have you ever seen the movie Sunshine?
I have. I like that movie a lot. Yeah, I think an underlooked sci-fi, kind of that mid 2000s, early or late 90s, whenever it came out exactly.
2007. Yeah.
2007. Wow, I thought it came out a lot earlier, but yeah, I do like that movie a lot. I think sci-fi wise is underrated, and Danny Boyle in general, I think, is definitely under the radar.
Yeah, I mean, Sunshine I actually just watched for the first time with Mina about a week or two ago, and so it's definitely been on the mind a little bit. I think I really enjoyed Danny Boyle as a director. I think he's one of my favorites. I mean, I enjoy the Steve Jobs movie a lot. And Trainspotting is a solid flick as well. The thing is, like, Sunshine, like you said, because it was not really a hit in America. So Sunshine only made $3 million domestically in the US, and then it made another $31 million internationally. Obviously, Danny Boyle, a UK film director, it's got a international cast in terms of people like Cillian Murphy. You've got Hiroki Sanada, who of course was in John Wick Chapter 4. You've got Cliff Curtis, Michelle Yeoh, Benedict Wong, Mark Strong, Chris Evans, Rose Byrne. So it's supposed to be this kind of like hodgepodge of people from all across the world. But no, Sunshine, I think, is a really interesting sci-fi movie. Like you said, it's kind of this crazy concept. It was done in a really interesting way. I think the computer effects are really solid. I think it's got beautiful cinematography. And then the third act kind of transforms into something completely unexpected and almost turns into a little bit of a horror movie, which I know a lot of people, if you have a problem with this movie, that's probably what it is its transition in the third act of kind of the way it approaches this Mark Strong character that appears.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm surprised it did not make any money in the US, honestly.
I think it was like barely distributed.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, you know.
it's probably not marketed at all either, to be fair. But I mean, in hindsight, like in today's age with that cast, I think that would make bank if you release that like this
The
year.
most theaters it ever showed in was 460.
Yeah.
So that's,
And I think those are kind of some of the funnest movies to look at too, or kind of maybe director smaller projects without a massive budget on stuff they just really wanted to do. Steve Jobs obviously had a little bit bigger budget. And obviously he had Sorkin's help with that film too, which I think definitely elevates it. But yeah, Sunshine, sci-fi wise, like you said, there are definitely some horror elements, but I mean, space is scary, man. I feel like we're kind of used to that, especially in the sci-fi genre and kind of that sort of vein. But yeah, the visual effects I think is a massive thing as well in that film, that it does still stand the test of time, which is pretty surprising for a really low budget film like that. But Danny Boyle, I think he is a good director.
28 Days Later is the other one I forgot about. That's also a fantastic movie, another Cillian Murphy collaboration. And then the other thing is, I mean, it's Alex Garland as well. So like Alex Garland was writing, he wrote 28 Days Later, he wrote Sunshine, he wrote a lot of these early ones. And then, you know, he went on to go and direct, you know, some of his own stuff like Ex Machina,
Annihilation.
Annihilation, of course, and then less, you know, maybe successfully Men. And then we'll see what happens with Civil War here in the next year.
Yeah. But I like that too, kind of writers working together and then branching off and doing their own thing. Really cool to see for Danny Boyle as well. He kind of has his toe in tons of different genres. Obviously, Steve Jobs is more biopicky, but he can do like the crazy sci-fi stuff. He can do the horror, obviously.
I mean, and he's also a Best Picture winner with Slumdog Millionaire. I mean, that's the other thing. It's like he did 127 hours as well, so that's your biopic stuff.
Like,
yeah,
I don't know, like anything he releases, it's kind of like that Soderbergh you always say. Like he releases a movie each year, but I'm gonna watch it every time. So yeah, I'm here for the Danny Boyle stands.
And Steve Jobs is an interesting one because obviously that's a Sorkin script. It's made around the same time that you get the Kutcher Steve Jobs film as well, and it's kind of like this unique. It's a very play-like approach. It's a very Sorkin, you know, 3-act structure, 3 different moments in time. But it was almost right. It was almost another Fincher Sorkin collaboration, and that ended up not working out because of, I think, some studio stuff and some casting stuff. There was someone else that David Fincher wanted for the role. And then, I don't know, I think that's a very different movie if you have Fincher instead of Boyle at the helm.
I think Fincher, I just, and it's not really a detriment to him, but I think he would have probably tried to make the story a lot more interesting and maybe not make it as realistic or biographical as I think Danny Boyle went about it, or at least tried to. Obviously, it's hard to with the kind of the passing of Steve Jobs, but yeah, I like the mention of the Kutcher film as well. I believe that one was just called Jobs, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually never saw that.
Christian Bale. That's who it was. Fincher was going to have Christian Bale play Steve Jobs. And this is like right after the Social Network. There was also a DiCaprio time when he was going to be in there as well.
Nice. Love that, obviously. But yeah, honestly, like those are probably 3 of my favorite actors working today. Probably 3 of the best working actors today. So yes, switch swap those guys in any film, and it's probably going to work out regardless. So that is funny. I would have loved to see both Leo and Christian Bale in that role, 100%.
Yeah. It's also interesting. I mean, Sorkin does the thing that he does in all his movies where it's really just about like a father-daughter relationship at its core. So, you know, that's always funny to catch in his writing.
Classic Sorkin.
All right, Kody. Well, I think that wraps up our KHAP Chat number 4. We had some fun competition. We had some good discussion. We hope you enjoyed listening to this kind of, you know, open-ended, free-flowing conversation. We hit on a lot of different subjects. Did you have any final thoughts for the people you wanted to share?
Not really, I mean, kind of all over the place, but that's the beauty of the KHAP Chats. I think this is 100% one of my favorite formats because we can kind of just go in any direction we end up finding ourselves. But yeah, a lot of fun combos. I think officially you probably won the competitive side of things. So congrats on that. But yeah, man, it was a fun episode, and I definitely enjoyed doing these a lot.
Looking forward to the next KHAP Chat. If you want to be a guest, hit us up, let us know, and leave us a like, comment, subscribe, all that junk. And we hope you enjoy the rest of May Mania.
Absolutely. Stay tuned for May Mania. A lot of fun stuff coming out. So definitely do not click away. But yeah, definitely appreciate you guys.
Peace.
Like Captain.
See you.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.